Hi, hello everybody, I'm Justin. This is Koopa. Welcome to Koopa's Corner. Today we're going to talk about Saturday night's main event. There's another edition coming up this Saturday, January the 25th. It will be live on Peacock or NBC. Now this edition of Saturday night's main event is not nearly as built up as the last one was just a few weeks ago. Not only that, but it's only a week before the Royal Rumble. So this is very much a transitional event, whereas the last one felt more like a must-stop on its own. Nevertheless, we're going to break down the advertised match card and give our preview and predictions for what's taking place. So we're going to start off with Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. They're doing a contract signing for their match at the Royal Rumble. Their match at the Royal Rumble will be a ladder match where Kevin Owens is going to hang his Winged Eagle Championship and Cody Rhodes will hang the modern-day undisputed WWE Championship. This contract signing will be moderated by the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Now, this is taking place because, both guys, they kind of been brawling a lot, and they both sort of refused to sign the contract on SmackDown. So now Shawn Michaels is coming in to moderate, and because this Saturday night's main event will be taking place live from San Antonio, Texas, Shawn Michaels' hometown. It's a great way to get Shawn Michaels back on our TVs. We know he's been involved, right? He's kind of running NXT for Triple H, and now he's going to be back on our screens. This, again, is more to set up the Royal Rumble than really to generate any sort of moment in Saturday night's main event. We'll talk about this rivalry a little bit more in our preview and predictions video for the Royal Rumble and how they sort of built to this moment and a little bit more about the rivalry. But right now, with a contract signing, you can expect a brawl, right? I don't know a contract signing in wrestling history that hasn't resulted in a brawl. And one of two things is going to happen, right? Either Kevin Owens is going to lay out Shawn Michaels, or he's, going to mouth off and, maybe push him, and then he's going to eat a super kick from Shawn Michaels. And that's going to be that. Moving on. There's the monster among men, Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. This match is it's a little surprising. I don't know that I was expecting something like this to be put on the card, but right, this whole event has had such little build, and they really, again, it's transitional. They haven't built for this. They've been building through this. Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu have barely interacted to this point. It's not much of a rivalry. And that being said, Braun Strowman presents a formidable opponent, right? Just by his size and his strength and everything he's accomplished in the WWE so far. But that is sort of all of it. They just putting him in front of Jacob Fatu because he's formidable, not because they've had any sort of rivalry, any sort of build, any sort of storyline going on. This is not something that's likely to continue past this. They're feeding Braun Strowman to Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is going to win this match. He's going to win this match cleanly and decisively. He's probably going to win this match relatively dominantly, and we're going to move on. We got to build up Jacob Fatu now that the new bloodline is no more and Solo Sikoa is no longer the tribal chief. Another match for Saturday night's main event is going to be Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. And again, this was put on the card just this past Monday with little to no build. Nia, for whatever reason, attacked Rhea backstage. Rhea came out after Nia's match with Bayley, and they had a little brawl. And it was all set up in one night. There's no, really history here. Some people might have been tired of seeing Liv versus Rhea, but if the alternative is Rhea versus Nia, I don't personally. I'm not excited about this. I don't think this is better. I think that I'd rather the Liv story continue, and it might. It very well might. We did get hints that Dominic Mysterio had a plan, right? Now, that plan could be simply entering the Royal Rumble. It could be transferring to SmackDown via the transfer window and pursuing Tiffany Stratton. And this could take all sorts of twists and turns with Liv and Dom and leave Rhea out of it. But it could ultimately circle back to Rhea at WrestleMania or at some point, right? But as of now, Rhea versus Nia. Rhea just won the title back. She's not going to immediately drop it to Nia. If they really wanted to keep Nia champion, she wouldn't have lost it to Tiffany Stratton. So I think what's hard about this match is right now they're playing really loose with the rosters as to who's on Raw, who's on SmackDown. And I get it, right? You just come into Netflix and they want different people on, and fine, but you're entering the road to WrestleMania. You shouldn't really mess with the rosters too much until the Monday after, right? The Monday after you can announce the draft, and then the Monday after that do the draft, like start the fresh season of the WWE. But no, Nia and Bayley, both SmackDown superstars, were on Raw. Bayley's, I think, going to be a Raw superstar moving forward. That came out at some point. Nia Jax, no idea why she is facing Rhea for the title instead of getting a rematch with Tiffany Stratton. But she is. And she's going to lose. We also have an Intercontinental Championship match. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. Now this match is interesting. This match has potential, right? We know what to expect from these two. It's not the first time that they've locked up. We're going to get a hard-hitting match. We're going to get a really good, entertaining match. But it could go either way. This is the only match on the card that I think could go either way, right? It makes sense for Braun Breaker to retain and Braun Breaker to sort of go on a dominant run and build himself up and establish himself. But it also kind of makes sense for Sheamus to win the one title he's never had, get his moment on an event like this to get people talking, right? We had new champions at the last Saturday night's main event, right? We had at least a new Women's United States champion. So there was at least one new champion. And if they want to make Saturday night's main event feel important and less transitional, they could do a title change here. And then the story becomes the two of them, Braun Breaker and Sheamus, through WrestleMania, where Braun can win it back, get his big moment, reclaiming the title on the grandest stage of them all, becoming a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. So, personally, I'm not sure which way I think would be the better story. I think both have potential, right? I think the difference is, do you want Braun Breaker to go through Sheamus, or do you want him to keep up with Sheamus for the next couple of months? Because if he goes through Sheamus now, he's got to go through a couple of other opponents and sort of build, knocking names off the list. But I don't think I'd mind watching Sheamus achieve that goal, holding the title for a couple of months before giving it back to Braun at Mania, right? So that's going to be my prediction, my final prediction. But don't be surprised if it goes the other way. It could very well go either direction with this one. That's going to be unlike the next match, the final match of the evening, the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus main event Jey Uso. And that's going to be, again, for the World Heavyweight Championship. I personally am not expecting a title change for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think, Jey Uso is immensely popular. He's got an interactive entrance. He sells a lot of merchandise. But honestly, I think his mic skills leave a lot to be desired. And I think his in-ring skills, they really if you're going to get into the nitty gritty, they really highlight the fact that he is a tag team wrestler and not a singles wrestler. And he'll learn and he'll adjust and he'll grow, right? But the question is, to what extent are they going to give him a chance to do that, right? How long is he going to dabble as a single superstar, dabble as a main event level superstar, before he adjusts, or they pull the plug, right? Because a lot of what Gunther has said about him is not exactly untrue, right? And again, this is a match that didn't have a lot of build, a lot of story. It was basically Jey Uso came out, challenged Gunther for the title. Gunther basically said, you're a glorified tag team wrestler and you're not worthy of this title. And, we'll find out Saturday night's main event when I beat your ass. And Jey was like, nah, yeet, gonna win, yeet, the title, yeet. Because, he talks like that. He talks like, almost like, Steve Austin pausing for the what's. He talks with a little space in between each sentence. Yeet. Like, I don't know. I like Jey Uso. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Jey Uso. But I don't think he's World Heavyweight Champion material. So, we'll see what they do. I don't expect a title change here. Gunther is the much bigger superstar, and he needs to find himself a more, I don't know the word here, a more specific story, a more, he's sort of been wandering. He hasn't really been tied into a heated rivalry, and he needs a little bit of a more heated story going into the road to WrestleMania. I don't think we'll see Gunther lose the title now. I think we'll see him lose it at WrestleMania, so I don't expect any title changes between now and then. And that's the match card for Saturday night's main event. We kind of got through it pretty quickly today. But, there's not a lot going on. It doesn't feel as big as the last one. It didn't feel as big as some of the other events. And we're only a week out from the Royal Rumble. So I think don't expect too much. And they're just going to use this as a transitional event, progress some stories, and get us to the Rumble. We'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.